Welcome, Central Church. If we haven't had the chance to meet in person, my name is Cameron Bishop. I've been on staff at Central for the last 7.5 years, and I am so excited to be here virtually with you tonight. Tonight, I am taking one of many steps towards us accomplishing one of the leadership's visions for Central, which is to become a strengths-driven culture. Now, tonight may seem like the first step, but this is not the first step. We have had a team that has been dedicated tirelessly to helping us build a strengths-driven culture. And that team has been led by Marla Lobley, and she has done an amazing job. And we'll get more on that later. So you may be asking yourself, what is a strengths-based culture? What is a strengths-driven culture? And why do we need one? Church has been going fine. Why do we need a strengths-driven culture? Well, simply put, we see you. We see you, our church family. We see you, our church members, our elders, our deacons, our friends, our families, as people that have strengths. We see you as strong people. And our goal is to become a church that is driven by those strengths. Our goal is to become a church that uses those strengths. And so tonight we're asking, what is a strengths-driven church? Well, that would be a church where we have our thoughts and our feelings and our behaviors, and we see those as pointing to people that are made in the image of God. In Genesis 1:24 through 2:3, it says, God said, "Let the land produce all kinds of living creatures. Let there be livestock and creatures that move along the ground, and wild animals. Let there be all kinds of them." And that's exactly what happened. God made all kinds of wild animals. He made all kinds of livestock. He made all kinds of creatures that move along the ground. And God saw that it was good. Then God said, "Let us make humans in our image. Let them rule over the fish in the waters and the birds of the air. Let them rule over the livestock and over the whole earth. Let them rule over the creatures that move along the ground." So God created humans in God's own image. He created humans in the likeness of God. He created them as male and female. God blessed them. He said to them, "Have children and increase your numbers. Fill the earth and bring it under your control. Rule over the fish in the waters and the birds of the air. Rule over every living creature that moves on the ground." Then God said, "I'm giving you every plant on the face of the whole earth that bears its own seeds. I'm giving you every tree that has fruit with seeds in it. All of them will be given to you for food. I'm giving every plant to all of the land animals and the birds of the air for food. I'm also giving the plants to all of the creatures that move on the ground. I'm giving them to every living thing that breathes." And that's exactly what happened. God saw everything he had made, and it was very good. There was evening and there was morning. It was day 6. So the heavens and the earth and everything in them were completed. By the 7th day, God had finished the work he had been doing. So on the 7th day, he rested from all of his work. God blessed the 7th day and made it holy. He rested on it after he had created everything. He rested from all of the work that he had done. We're working to create a strengths-based culture because we are choosing to believe what God says in Genesis 1 and in Genesis 2. In Genesis 1 and in Genesis 2, God makes 2 claims about humans. The first one is that we're made in the image of God. And the second one is that we are capable of interacting with creation in creative ways. So he makes 2 very big claims about humans. 1, we're made in the image of God. 2, we are capable and charged with interacting with creation in creative ways. And that is so exciting and also challenging. It's so exciting and also challenging because what we're learning here is that if we have a world full of humans made in the image of God, Maybe the fact that sometimes we're annoyed by other humans, or bothered by other humans, or hate other humans, is because there's something about them that points us to God that we have not learned yet. And so if you're hesitant about this, if you're hesitant about this new strengths-driven initiative, I totally get it. I totally get it. It's new, and quite honestly, it might not work. We may try to adopt a strengths-based culture. We may try to live out the conviction that we get from reading the first part of Genesis, and it might not work. Think of the surveys and the results and the committees and this 9-part series as just an experiment. Just an experiment, a trial. Worst case scenario, it doesn't work and we go back to the way things were. Worst case scenario, this doesn't work, we try it, we try to live out our biblical convictions, it doesn't work, and we go back to the way things are. But the best case scenario is that more people begin to see other people as made in the image of God. They start to see themselves as more fully made in the image of God. And we start to live out our divine likeness in new, creative, and fulfilling ways. That's the best case scenario. One way that we see the image of God in others, and that we can begin to see the image of God in others and in ourselves, is by looking at people with curiosity instead of judgment. It's easy to look at someone's thoughts, feelings, and behaviors and judge those, right? Like, how could they think that way? Why do they feel that way? Why are they behaving that way? But it's much more beneficial and much more fulfilling to look at someone's thoughts and feelings and behaviors with curiosity. I wonder why they think that way. I wonder why they feel that way. I wonder what that behavior could teach me about God. So we're going to take a moment to look at your thoughts and your feelings and your behaviors. If you have a phone in front of you or a pen and paper, I'm going to encourage you to do an activity with us real quick. The first thing I want you to do is write down the word thoughts. And now I want you to write down one thing that influences your thoughts. It could be a person, it could be a story, it could be an experience, it could be some kind of affiliation. But I want you to write down one thing that influences your thoughts. So we're going to give you 1 minute to think about that and write that down. So now we're going to give you 1 minute to write down a feeling that you have. So the definition of a feeling is an emotional state or a reaction. So I want you to take a minute. You don't have to think too heavily into it, but I just want you to write down what is something you feel often. Do you feel angry about injustices? Do you feel excited when you see your grandkids? Do you feel joy when you have your favorite dessert? What is a feeling you experience often? We're going to give you 1 minute now. All right, now that you've written down a thought and a feeling, we're going to write down a behavior. So a behavior is defined as the way in which one conducts themselves, particularly towards another human. So I want you to write down a behavior of yours that people tend to notice. What is something you tend to do that other people tend to notice or point out about you? We're going to give you 1 minute to do that, starting now. All right, you have your thoughts, you have your feelings, you have your behaviors. You may not see it yet, but over the next couple weeks, I hope we're going to begin to see how our thoughts and our feelings and our behaviors point to our God and tell us and teach us something new about our God. Now, what do we do with this new information? What is our next step in helping Central become a strengths-based culture? As I said, Marla Lobley has been teaming up, has been leading our team for becoming a strengths-driven culture, and she's actually going to be helping me put these videos together over the next 9 weeks. But one amazing thing that her and her team have done is they have come up with 3 surveys that are going to help us become a strengths-based culture. Those surveys should be in your email. If you hadn't received them, feel free to contact any of us, and we'll get them for you. Hey Central, we are so excited to be building a strengths-based culture here at our church. One of the advantages we have here is the fact that our college ministry has actually implemented a strengths-based language for the last couple of years. So as we work through the 34 themes of Clifton Strengths and begin to learn this new strengths-based language, I'm going to use one of our college students each week to highlight 2 to 4 different strengths. So, Troy, why don't you go ahead and tell us something about yourself?
My name's Troy Shaw. I've been going to the church since about 5th grade. I'm going to ECU. I'm a sophomore now, studying business management with an emphasis in finance.
Yep. And so, Troy, if you know him, you love him. And one thing you know about Troy is just the fact that he is, for one, a really hard worker, and 2, a super relatable guy. People just tend to like Troy. So Troy's top 5 themes of strength are strategic, achiever, relator, arranger, and connectedness. So today I'm going to be asking Troy a couple questions, and we're actually going to highlight 2 of his strengths. We're going to highlight achiever and relator. So Troy, you've actually been through a strengths conversation with me. We've talked through your strengths. You've been through a similar series with us. And today, the difference between that and today is that I'm going to ask you very specific questions, and I'm going to be kind of pushing the themes of relator and achiever to the front of our mind and the front of our conversation.
Gotcha.
So right off the bat, people that have the strength of achiever, and you could tell me more about this than I could tell you, but just to let the people know at home, people who have the strength of achiever are known for just having a high work capacity. They're people that can work hard, they're good at working hard, and they enjoy working hard. Someone who is a relator and has a theme of relator has a high relational capacity. Like it's someone that they are good at forming new relationships, and they're good at investing in their current relationships. And so you take that high relational capacity and that high work capacity, and man, that's a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, they go together really well.
Yeah, they play off. So tell me a little bit about that. Like, what has it looked like in your life to have both those themes together?
Well, I think they both just kind of complement each other. I think whenever you're working in a relationship, it takes a lot of effort. Whether it's personal relationship, friendship, or your relationship with God, all things take a lot of work, take a lot of communication, and just a lot of effort. So that's how being an achiever and a relator kind of go together. Also, whenever you're working at something, if you care a lot about it, it just makes it that much easier to work towards it.
Wow. Okay. So give me an example of one of those things you've cared a lot that you've put the work into.
Definitely like football.
Okay.
I spent a lot of time enjoying football with my biological dad and my current dad, along with my uncle, who my uncle is gone now, but I've spent a lot of time with them learning a lot about football, and that was always like a strong bond between us.
Yeah.
And so whenever it came time to start working in high school football, it just gave me the motivation to do the best that I could.
Wow. Do you think your relationship with your teammates played into the willingness to achieve in football at all?
Oh, certainly. Those guys, it becomes a brotherhood whenever you're on a football team like that. We all spent a lot of time on the field and off the field together. We were all friends and teammates. So that just made it easier for us to trust each other. It allowed us to do things that a lot of people didn't think that we could do on the football team.
Sure. What would an example of that be?
My junior year, we went to state.
Wow. Okay.
So that was a good one. It was fun because it was basically all my class. We didn't have a lot of seniors, and we didn't have a lot of sophomores at the time. So it was all basically juniors. And we all just kind of got to experience that. We'd all grown up together for the last 5 years together. So
wow,
it was fun.
So outside of football, who are some of the people that are close to you?
Katie Netherton, my father and mother. I have a couple friends from high school that I still hang out with, like my friend Tannen. Other than that, close with Blake Earnhardt, you. But yeah, that's really it.
So we'll take Katie, just because Central knows and loves Katie. How long have you known Katie?
I've known her since, I guess, 7th grade. So I guess 6 years.
Okay. And how long have you guys been close?
Probably the last 3.5, 4 years.
Awesome. Now, how have you taken that theme of relator, that theme of achievement, and helped Katie achieve something?
Well, she's currently working towards a degree in early childhood education.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's just that's a big plate to take on.
Yeah.
So I've tried to help her, when she needs me to, help her with her studies or that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Also just, personal development, like, sometimes patience. Other times it's like being confident in yourself.
Awesome. That's great. And I can attest to that, man, because like you do that when you're around the college ministry. I see you bringing that patience to us. Like I see you, when people are around you, like I see them developing better. Like I definitely see that. Speaking to the college ministry here at Central, how do you see those strengths of achiever and relator play into the college ministry?
With the college ministry, it's weird because it's usually a bunch of different people from a bunch of different backgrounds.
Mm-hmm.
We all just happen to be going to the same college.
Yeah.
Right. So with the theme of like relator, it's just good to be able to take a little bit of me and kind of see it in other people, even if it's just a small bit, because it kind of helps you form that relationship, and that's what would keep someone going to a college ministry, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Along with just working hard together. We all know that we're in college, and that's a struggle to begin with. But if we can all help each other and work hard to help each other achieve goals, it just builds the relationship even further.
Gotcha. No, that makes total sense too. And I see, you've been one of the first people in our group when people come in to talk to them, but you've also been one of the first to offer your like services up. Like if we need something done, like you're the first to say like, hey, I can, like I would never expect to watch you walk past a piece of trash at an event. Like I think
Gotcha.
you'd be the one to like stop, grab that. And so I definitely affirm and see that in you within our college ministry. With that said, before we wrap up, is there anything else you think the people at home need to know about strengths?
Many people share strengths, but the way that you use the strength is all about how you developed it. Just because you share a strength with someone does not mean that you're that same person. You can use your strengths to affect and help people in all sorts of different ways.
Yeah, I echo that, man. That's beautiful. Awesome. Anyway, Central, thank you for joining us this week. We will see you next Wednesday. God bless.